take, how much you hate the Astros, and the fact that they're signing a guy that everybody seems to hate in the major leagues, Trevor Bauer. But Bauer is back, and he goes by Bauer Outage, kind of a play on power outage on his website, and he was all tickled that he's getting another opportunity to pitch in the big leagues.
I'm tickled that he's going to get another opportunity to pitch in the big leagues. He's fun to watch. If you're just watching the pitcher pitch, like he's a showman on the mound too. He's a jerk. A lot of people are going to want to fight him.
Don't date the guy or don't introduce him to your daughter. But other than that, this guy's a good baseball player.
And I do read between the lines on this because I do think the Astros are done, and there's not much they want to give up because those guys that you talk of, and Tucker and Alvarez and all the other young talent they have on that team, like they're underperforming this year, but this year feels like it's such a wash for the Houston Astros. They're not like completely out of it. They're only 6 games away from 500. They're behind the Rangers, significantly behind.
Tucker's the one guy that's not underachieving. He's got 19 homers, 40 RBI, hitting 270 right now.
Still,
other than that, everybody else.
But you don't want to trade him.
Everybody else is underachieving.
You're not trading Alvarez.
No, you're not because you control them for a long time right now.
So you don't have any trade bait. Nobody wants Ukiti on the IL. Nobody wants Javier on the IL. No. I'll take Trevor Bauer if he looks good for 5 starts. Like, there's going to be a market out there. Yeah. We already knew there was a market for this guy. It was like, who's going to be the team willing to do it first?
Who's going to take a chance?
Who's going to take a chance? I'm not surprised it's the Houston Astros, and I'm reading between the lines. They're not looking for wins for him.
No, they need a body. They need a heartbeat. They need a body.
And it could turn into more bodies if they move him in a couple of weeks.
It's a short leash with this guy. First of all, forget the whole sexual problem with this guy. He was a tool before that.
People hated him in college.
They hate him in college. Garrett Cole can't stand him. That's why the Yankees didn't sign him. And that's the Dodgers signed him a couple of years ago.
College teammates, right?
College teammates hated each other. Goes to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They give him like a $7 million bonus. 4 starts into his big league career, they trade him. So not only did they sign him for the $7 million, now he's in the big leagues with you. So they waited for him to get there, and they're like, we can't stand this guy and his dad. Get the hell out of here. They sent him to the then Indians, now Guardians. And then the Guardians, after a couple of years, have had enough of this guy. Remember this guy in the postseason, playing with a drone, cuts his finger. Dude, you concentrate on baseball, would you? So it's kind of like this guy, he's a special talent, but he's a tool at the same time. So now he's a headache for the Astros waiting to happen. If he's cool, that's great. But if it happens again, short leash, they probably don't have a lot of money invested in this guy. They could cut him loose. He can go back and play in Mexico if he wants.
The league is working in his favor, though. All these pitchers.
These injuries, absolutely.
All these injuries. And there's a lot of teams. And with this, we said this last year. I think we said it the year before. As soon as they added that 6th wild card team to the playoffs, there's so many more teams that are in play that have hope past the month of July. There's going to be a lot of people looking for starting pitching. And he's not going to be on the top of the list, but he is going to be a fallback plan when it comes trade deadline for a lot of people. I think he is fun to watch. I like the drama of it. I know he's hated around baseball. I don't think he's there to make any friends for the Astros either, just like the Dodgers, just like the Reds, just like the Guardians. He is there to strike people out and make a show of it and embarrass the batter. And that's great drama for Major League Baseball. Again, don't like the guy. I don't think many people do.
No.
But he is going to be fun to watch on the mound for Houston or wherever he ends up at the end of the year. I would not be surprised if he does get on a contending team and actually helps them win games late in this regular season and potentially in the playoffs.
No, and that's the bottom line. Are you in business to play baseball, or are you in business to have a bunch of choir boys? And certainly there's been awful humans that have played all of our sports.
They still are.
There still are. There's still bad guys in the NFL. There's bad guys in MLB. There's always going to be bad guys, and it's how bad do you want them to be? And because this is a guy. Here's the one problem with Bauer, like some other players, you can't control this guy. You can't control his mouth. You're not going to control him, on social media.
He'll be on social media popping off.
He's a big proponent of the analytics and driveline portion of baseball that came in, with a flourish, and now everybody's getting rid of him.
He's a mad scientist in this game.
He's one of those guys that thinks he's smarter than he really is.
Correct.
And those are the most dangerous people in a sport where you don't have to be smart to play. You just have to be diligent. You have to be, all in, and you have to be into your teammates. You have to have an acceptance of your teammates, and it's got to be vice versa, at least in the respect phase of this. And that's with the off the field stuff, there's a lot of guys, they draw the line at certain things. And that was probably with the Dodgers. The Dodgers voted as a team, we don't want him to come back. So the Dodgers, as a organization, had to eat a lot of his contract while he just sat there and didn't play. But he wasn't allowed back into the locker room. So, I mean, that's where I look at this. It's like, it's not even about, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy off the field? Is he a good teammate? That's what he really needs.
No.
If you want to keep playing in the major leagues,
the answer is no.
But you're going to have to, figure it out with the Astros and try to get a reputation that you can be a viable part of a team in that locker room, so that you'll get another shot. Because this is an audition for next year. That's the way I look at it.
I agree.
He was auditioning in Mexico to get back in the big leagues. He did well there, but he was still at times at odds with them. When he was in Japan, he was popping off all the time and getting into trouble.
His teammates didn't like the samurai stuff. Remember that? Tell him
he
change
was
it
doing
right away.
after a strikeout. He would do the samurai sword, and they're like, "Dude, that's disrespectful." So I mean, he loves to push buttons, and we'll just see how many buttons the Astros are willing to let get pushed.
Speaking of the Dodgers, they did make a move today. I was sort of surprised, but not really. I've heard that the Blue Jays in the MLB rumor mill are going to be moving a lot of players, especially some of their young talent that they have acquired. I'm a little surprised just on that because they're not out of it. They're right in the mix, man. And they're playing right now as we speak against the Brewers. Kevin Biggio is the guy that they moved to L.A. Speaking of it, first on the Blue Jays front, I always thought that when it came to the three youngsters with dads in the majors that have been like kind of the rookie superstars of this team, Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, I think we can all agree Kevin out of those three was the weakest link. Batting 200 this year. He's not had the best year. Hasn't had really the best major league experience.
No, he's the least talented. You could say it. He's the least talented of those three sons of former major leaguers. Obviously, his dad's a Hall of Famer. Vladdy's dad's a Hall of Famer. And Bo Bichette, the son of Dante Bichette. Dante was a hell of a player. This guy's first year was fantastic. 16 homers, 48 RBI in 100 games. He hit 234, but that's fine with the analytics people. After that, the production has never been close to that. His high was the next year in batting average at 250, but he's a lifetime 227 hitter. Honestly, he cut down his strikeouts year in and year out over the last few years, but he just still hasn't been productive. Hadn't had a lot of time played even through COVID. And it's just like, you're waiting and waiting and waiting. We're going on year 6 with this guy. I mean, I'm honestly, I looked at him for the last couple of years like, what are you waiting for to cut this guy loose? Are you waiting for him to all of a sudden act like his dad? Because he's not his dad. And the thing about Craig Biggio was that guy could always hit doubles. He was always a hell of a player in the field, was an all-star. This guy, not that he's a shell of his dad, but I think his dad got him extra time in the major league. So I'll be interested to see how much playing time he gets. There's a lot of injuries to the Dodgers, and see if he's not either a utility guy or a guy that they might use in another deal to bring other guys to the Dodgers down at trade deadline.
Yeah, I was looking at the Dodgers depth chart right now, and it's like Kevin Biggio, where do you fit in? Second base, obviously, I don't know if you can put him anywhere else other than second. Gavin Lux and Mookie are kind of holding those spots down. Mookie's all over the place in this lineup, by the way. He's listed as shortstop, but he could play right, left, wherever. Max Muncy on an IL as we speak. Yep. He will probably be off that in a little bit, but yeah, it looks like down the road, this is kind of thinking in September or maybe even packaging it up in a deal where they move some people here in a couple of weeks. But I just found that very interesting today on both fronts, that the Dodgers wanted him and that the Blue Jays were willing to give him up so early.
Gavin Lux couldn't play shortstop, so that's why Mookie was moved there. Right. They moved Gavin to second base. I don't know how happy they are with Gavin Lux, so it's probably like, we'll bring in a guy
to challenge him,
to challenge him. Exactly, a little kick in the butt kind of thing. But listen, in the big leagues, man, it's what have you done for me lately? And like you said, you're now almost 70 games into the season. The dude's hitting 200. They're getting aggravated to the point where they're listening to offers. You're not going to get a lot in return for Kevin Biggio, but I agree with you. I think this is the first of many moves for the Toronto Blue Jays, but this is the first one to show those other players that they mean business, that, listen, we have to make some changes here. You have to start, playing better, and execution has just not been there this year as it was a couple years ago. And so now, listen, Vlad Jr.'s got to start thinking, are my days numbered? Bo Bichette, even Springer. All of these guys that the younger players that are looking for these huge contracts, you certainly don't want to get traded. You want to be able to go into your free agent year and or your year before the free agent and get a huge extension from the ball club that you think you deserve instead of getting traded somewhere else. And now, okay, everything changes. Now you could go from American League East to the National League like Kevin Biggio. You got to learn all the pitchers again. You're all the way on the West Coast now. A lot of things just changed for Kevin Biggio's future.
I wanted to get your take on this. This happened last night. I am just floored by what happened in St. Louis last night.
Not this good, though.
Paul Skeens for the Pirates. Decent outing. I mean, he didn't really get the win. Someone else got the win, but he had 6 1/3.
Six shutout innings.
6 shutout innings, does give up 5 hits, has 8 strikeouts, and when he leaves the mound after 6 1/3, standing ovation from the home crowd of St. Louis to the visiting pitcher who's pitched a handful of games in Major Leagues, Paul Skeens. What do you think?
Well, on the other side, Mikolas was 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs.
He's your guy.
He pitched his ass off. You don't give him a standing ovation. This guy, obviously, there's probably a lot of LSU and Air Force fans that are there in St. Louis.
I didn't think about that.
And so they're like, oh my God, he's the Caitlin Clark of MLB right now. And he's got 10 starts. And it's unbelievable. I honestly, St. Louis is a great place. So is Chicago.
They love their baseball.
They love their baseball. They respect this guy. 103 pitches to basically get 19 outs. I think that sucks.
I didn't think
That's
it was
me
a great
personally.
outing. Yeah.
It's not. 74 for strikes. Yeah, he punches out a lot of guys, but he throws 104. He should strike out a lot of guys. He throws 104 and 82 off speed. So, I mean, listen, Mikolas is a hell of a pitcher.
Yeah.
And he's not getting the same kind of love from the home crowd.
Or run support.
Honestly. I call it weak sauce. But that's the state of these games now. You had Caitlin Clark here at Mohegan Sun, and they're cheering, "We want Caitlin. We want." It's like you're not even there for basketball anymore. It's almost like an entertainment value.
I want to get my selfie.
Right.
It's about my selfie. Paul Skeens is here, and he's coming off the mound, and we're cheering for him because I want my selfie.
He's dating someone who's got millions of followers on the social media. So it's like, what's her name, Lizzie something? I mean, so it's like that it's a whole package deal. This is like Kelsey and Taylor Swift. It's not about music and football. It's about being popular. It's a popularity contest right now.
All right, this is what I really like: home runs, long balls,
guy can hit, man. I don't know why you're pitching to him.
Aaron Judge, 25, got another one last night. Yep. The over and under is hovering around 52.5 for his season. Like, really? He's halfway there.
Man, they're winning like crazy. They're 48-21, hottest team in baseball. You keep pitching to the biggest monster in the game. He can start going after 62 again. I mean, he's that hot. I mean, he broke all kinds of records in May. Most extra base hits since 1939 on the Yankees. Since Joe DiMaggio, who's, an absolute legend. So, listen, this guy, when he gets hot, is as good as anybody. And when you're 6'7", 270, 275, you have the power to hit it to any edge of the stadium, in any stadium. So now, when Soto gets hurt for a few games, you make him forget Soto. And the reason why you paid this guy $350.
That's what I was about to get to. He's my guy, man. Like, I don't like Yankees. I'm sorry.
Dude, he's better than Shohei right now. So stop talking Shohei this, Shohei. His numbers are phenomenal right now.
And the money, though, that's the thing. Is like Kurt and I were really side-eyeing this. The April was not going well, and we were like, "Oh man, this guy gets paid, and now all of a sudden he's a shell of himself." No, say it ain't so, Judgester. Say it ain't so, and it's not so. It's not so. He's back. 25 home runs already. I think this guy is building it up to be appointment television once again. If he gets close to 50,
May, hit 361, 14 homers, 27 driven in.
Dang.
So far in the first 2 weeks of June, 5 home runs, 17 driven in. He's hitting .533.
Making me sick.
It's insanity.
You know what I also miss?
.650 on base percentage.
I miss Sterling's All Rise.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like they need to have that on tape and just play that as soon as the home run goes over the fence.
Well, they used to for Derek Jeter, the Hall of Fame announcer that died, Shepard.
Number 2.
Yes.
Number 2.
So why can't you have John Sterling?
We have the capability of doing this.
Well, it's easy. It's real easy. I mean, it's a push of a button.
Yep.
Like we have it recorded. Like they should have it recorded.
But dude, that was a dead center changeup in the zone.
But it's a beautiful moment in baseball when
he hits bomb.
When the ball touches the bat and everyone behind him in the television shot gets off their feet and literally the all rise, here comes the judge. Like that, it's goosebump stuff, man. This guy is so much fun to watch. I'm glad he's back. And I'm with you. I hope he challenges his own record.
No, because it's good for the game. It's really good. Listen, what Juan Soto did when he wasn't playing well carried the Yankees. Now this guy's carrying the Yankees, and Soto's back. We're waiting on Garrett Cole to come back, and it's really like Kurt's saying, Red Sox fans are like, they don't need any more help.
Well, I hate to break it to Red Sox fans, even though the series is coming up this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Red Sox, Yankees, right here on Fox Sports 97.9 Hartford. They're kind of thinking about the Dodgers and the Orioles and the Phillies.
Yeah.
Hate to break it to you.
The guy that's kind of shocking me with his production this year has revamped his swing a little bit. Giancarlo Stanton, 16 home runs. He hit one last night.
Had one last night.
38 driven in. It sucks with the strikeouts.
I think
he's got
it's
more
a
than
Soto
Judge
effect.
at 77. But
I think all these guys, it's the Soto effect. He
takes heat off of them. They get better pitches. I mean, you forget how good Stanton was just 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden he sees a few more fastballs and he's not missing them.
I don't think he ever put up with the country club attitude back in March when he showed up in pinstripes. And Stanton and even Judgesters and obviously Gleyber Torres, Volpe, like they just watch this guy and he's leading by example. He is a different thinker in this ball club that they haven't had. A guy that would want to, hit a base hit with a runner in scoring position rather than hitting the launch angle 500-foot bomb. Just stuff like that. His work ethic on the field, not just in batting practice, what he does to get prepared for games. I think it's rubbing off on all the Yankees in the best way.
It's amazing. They have such a nice all-star lineup like the Dodgers. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. One of our favorite all-stars from the Hartford Athletic, Danny Barrera. Old man Barrera at 34 for the Hartford Athletic will join us next on the Rob Dibble Show. Ben Darnell in your afternoon drive. John Ashmead, Kurt Kaplan on the ones and twos on your Wednesday afternoon. We'll be right back.